officials may drop recommended limits.
The current U.S. dietary guidelines say women should have no more than 1 drink a day and men should have no more than 2. The new guidelines will likely not recommend any specific number, but simply encourage Americans to drink in moderation. It would be a big change months after former Surgeon General Vivek Murthy called for warning labels on alcoholic drinks about the possible cancer risks. Oncologist Dr. Dale Shepard.
More people die every year of preventable alcohol-related cancers than drunken driving.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
It's back-to-back Stanley Cups for the Panthers.
It's a hat trick! Sam Reinhart!
Reinhart scored 4 goals in Florida's 5-1 victory over Edmonton in Game 6 on TNT. Panthers defenseman Seth Jones.
Unbelievable experience. Been here a few months, and the only thing on these guys' mind here is winning a Stanley Cup, and so happy I got to be a part of it.
Dow up 106 ahead of today's Fed meeting on interest rates. S&P ahead 15. This is CBS News.
Progressive Insurance. Progressive can protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, RV, and more. In short, a lot of things. Bundle today at Progressive.com.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard joining MediShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 877-26-BIBLE. That's 877-26-BIBLE. 877-26-BIBLE.
WICC 695.9. Voice of Connecticut Local News Update.
This update is brought to you by Kitchen Corner. Visit Kitchen Corner in Fairfield, the headquarters for your cooking needs and grilling essentials, offering expert knife sharpening. 203-374-1118 or kitchen-corner.com. Testimony is underway in the trial of Raul Valley, charged with murder in the deadly stabbing of Fairfield Prep student James McGrath. Valley was 16 years old when he allegedly killed McGrath and wounded other teens during a fight at a party in Shelton. Police and emergency medical technicians who responded to the scene in May of 2022 were among the first witnesses to testify yesterday. Also taking the stand was a state medical examiner who testified that McGrath died from a stab wound to the chest. Almost 24 dogs were rescued yesterday, with officials saying their owner got in over his head. 22 dogs were taken from a home in Oxford, with some having severe flea issues and rashes, one of which was pregnant. The animals are currently being treated by vets. The owner is being charged with animal cruelty. An animal control officer said the unnamed man meant well and tried to help the dogs, but could not and ended up harming them instead. For the Voice of Connecticut WICC, I'm John Kamal.
WICC 695.9, the Voice of Connecticut. Weather update.
Patchy fog early this morning. Any showers or a thunderstorm ending by mid to late morning. Cloudy and warmer in the afternoon with a high in the mid-70s and a breeze out of the south. A few widely scattered showers overnight. It will be mild and humid with a low in the upper 60s. Sunny and hot tomorrow with a high near 90. There will be a late-day line of showers and thunderstorms. I'm meteorologist Paul Piorek on WICC.
It's time. Time for stimulating talk. Time for thought-provoking conversation. Time for the Lisa Wexler Show. Turn on your brain and get the real scoop on today's topics and events. Here is Lisa Wexler.
Hola, good morning, good morning. It's a bit gloomy out there, right? It's a little bit dreary, but Paul Piorek, who's usually right about these things, says the weather should be turning really nice by the end of today, tomorrow-ish, and all of a sudden, instead of 65 degrees, it'll be 90, and we'll be sweating out our armpits and complaining that summer arrived too quickly. Welcome to the show today. Joining us on the show in the next hour, Laura Hoydick, who is the mayor of the town of Stratford, will be in studio. And in just a moment, I'm going to introduce you to Andrew Banoff, who is the chief executive officer of Mosaic, spelled with a Z. and they have an extraordinarily wonderful reputation in elder care throughout Fairfield County. So we're going to talk with him about that. Wayne Winston joins us at 11:30 for It's Not Just Black and White. And tomorrow, of course, is Juneteenth. And I'm going to be doing the only live show tomorrow on WICC. I'm going to ask Wayne to come back in and talk with us because Juneteenth is a national holiday. And the reason I'm doing that is simply because, last week I missed a couple of shows for this mouth surgery, which still has me drooling a little bit. It's very unattractive saliva. You don't need to look at it. And so I just thought it would be fun to do another live show with you tomorrow. In major national news, this morning, the New York Post reporting more dire kinds of brinksmanship between Trump and Iran, and now threatening regime change and questions over whether this bunker buster, which is the only thing apparently that can attack this underground bunker that houses the main nuclear facility of Iran. Only the United States has this weapon. I don't think we've ever used the weapon before, but we theoretically have the capability to go in and blast open and destroy this incipient nuclear weapons facility. Israel does not have the weapon. It looks like Israel is trying to get the United States to lend them the weapon, use the weapon, something with the weapon, so that this thing can be finished once and for all. But you have AOC and MTG. You've got the ultra left and the ultra right combining together and agreeing for a change that they don't want to see any U.S. involvement in the Middle East, each for their own reasons, different reasons, but the same. And so when you've got Marjorie Taylor Greene and you've got, what is her name? Ocasio-Cortez on the side, the same side of an issue, you have to scratch your head and say, what's really going on here? I'm nervous about the whole thing. All I can tell you is personally, I've been speaking with Zahavit, Ori, Hillel, Oren, all my peeps in Israel, and they are staying put. They are staying in their shelters. They have food. They're venturing out when allowed to, and then they're running back in. There are alarms going all day long. And in American news, Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, paid for, it's unclear whether he paid for personally or he had Florida pay for, transportation for 1,500 birthright American young people to get back here. Birthright is a program that is paid for by the international Jewish community and Israel that treats all Jewish young people to the age of 26 at any time they want from the age 18 to 26. And they can have one parent be Jewish. They don't have to have both parents be Jewish. But if they identify as Jewish and they have some feeling about being a Jew and they want to spend an extraordinary time in Israel, they sign up for something called Birthright, which is a 10-day, 2-week program that is completely paid for. I think they pay $250 as a token fee, and the flight and the hotel and the touring and all of the arrangements are covered. And that is an attempt to have Jewish people in this country and elsewhere feel closer to Israel. They come back feeling like the news stories they've read about are much more real and personal to them. So there are approximately 3,000 kids in Birthright right now in Israel, or were at the beginning of the war. And you know that the airport, Ben Gurion Airport, is closed. People can't fly in, they can't fly out. So the parents and the kids have been struggling with what to do. Their kids are in imminent danger. So about 1,500 of them so far, and my understanding is all of them eventually, 1,500 went to Cyprus on a boat from Israel, which is an easy hop. People do it all the time. And then from Cyprus, they were flown back home. And so Ron DeSantis is getting the credit for coordinating the 4 airplanes to get the first 1,500 back here. I think there's another 1,500 or so. And when you read the comments from the kids themselves, some of them are calm. Some of them were happy to be there. Some of them said they couldn't believe what was happening in front of them, that it's an experience they'll remember the rest of their lives. Others were nervous and scared, just like the gamut of any other kind of human emotion. But I know for American parents that are here, they're probably very relieved to see their young ones back here. 203-333-9422. I'm going to turn the conversation now to Andrew Banoff, who I welcome into the studio. He is the leader of Mosaic, spelled Mozaic. And if you recall what used to be called the Jewish Home for the Aged, which was it was further up Park Avenue for a very long time and routinely considered to be the best nursing home in our area, the hardest to get into, the one with the longest waiting list, but everybody said the best of care. That was torn down and rebuilt on the site of the old JCC on Park Avenue in Bridgeport as well. And with an extraordinary innovative approach towards senior living in these little pod capsules where people have their own kitchens and their own social areas. Andrew Banoff, welcome to the Lisa Wexler Show. Thanks for being here. Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Say that again because your mic was off.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you so much, Lisa. It's great to be here.
You know that I was originally I was a trustee of the JCC on that Park Avenue site before it became Mosaic. And I have so many fond memories of going every single day when Jonathan was 2 and 3 and for camp and for plays. He acted in plays up there till he was 12 years old at the old JCC.
There's a lot of history on that campus, and we were honored to be able to keep it alive in the community. Incredibly, the building is already 9 years old. We just celebrated our 9th anniversary.
It's hard to believe.
And time flies.
It does.
No doubt.
But it's a beautiful building. I went there. There's a lovely chapel. There's a beautiful lobby. And tell us, Andrew Banoff, why was this iteration of a nursing home so different, so innovative?
I think the most important message of what we tried to accomplish was to create what's called the household model. And it's been done in other states. We did not invent the idea, but there are none other in Connecticut. We actually had to get special legislation passed in order to create this household model in Connecticut. It was quite an adventure because there are no new nursing homes allowed in Connecticut because the legislature has had a moratorium for 25 years now because the belief was it would be better if we cared for people in the community, which I wholeheartedly agree with. So there are no new nursing homes. You can't build one.
I didn't know that.
It's a long-standing state policy, in part driven by Medicaid funding in order to keep the funding minimized. And the premise was that we wanted to replace an existing nursing home. We still had to pass the legislation. But what we did, working with our legislature and the community and the Department of Public Health and all the state leaders, including the governor at the time, was to say, we can do something better than what we have. We always had a good nursing home. I think people appreciated it.
I visited it. I knew people there. Yeah.
And listen, my mom lived in the old nursing home too. I truly can appreciate how good it was. But what we learned from other parts of the country is that it could be better. And the concept of the household model was not only would everyone have their own private room and private bathroom and private shower, which is unheard of in a nursing home, but these 14 individuals that shared a house would live together with their own kitchen, dining room, living room, den, and balcony. So truly their own house within a big building, right? Still a big space with lots of wonderful things they do together. But the premise of the household was it was way more residential than an institution. So we still provide all the same levels of care. We still have the same staffing model that we were always very proud of with nurses and aides and therapists and all the team that makes the care great. But now the environment is completely different. And I think it's proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that the quality of care, the length of life, that people live longer, the food that they eat is better, their appetites are better. The environment changes the way people live.
Oh, no question.
And one of my favorite statistics that I'll share is the average life expectancy in a nursing home in the United States is about a year. The life expectancy in our nursing home is 4 years because people do better, live longer, are more engaged. Most importantly, their health and nutrition is better. And again, lots of research all across the country, not just from us, but there's clear evidence that this concept makes it better for seniors and their families, better social engagement, better quality of life, and having that privacy and dignity that we strive for has proven to be true.
We're chatting with Andrew Banoff of Mosaic, MOZAIC, and we're talking specifically, what's the name of, is it Mosaic Senior Life? What's the name of the place on Park Avenue? What's it called?
I love that question because it's evolved over time. You are absolutely correct. Mosaic Senior Life is the parent organization.
Okay.
Mosaic Senior Life is everything that we do, including the nursing home. And as you know, it's actually a small percentage of the people that we care for in the nursing home. The vast majority are people who live in the community. So now Mosaic Home Care, Mosaic Hospice, Mosaic Adult Daycare, everything under that same umbrella with the new name. The idea was to bring it together with an identity of quality and commitment and compassion and care that I think people and most of the community knows us for the nursing home, but we need to do the same thing for everyone, regardless of where they live. So the majority of people we care for live in their own homes, wherever that may be. They want to be cared for in their home. We understand that. And literally starting about 20 years ago, we began offering more and more services for people in their home, including just companions and aides. People can call us and say, you know, mom's aging, mom needs support. She doesn't want to come to the nursing home, and we respect that because our job is to meet them where they are and bring that level of care for what they need and what they want. So the Mosaic umbrella now covers everything we do, and the message we try to deliver is call us when you need support for an aging loved one. Our job is to help you figure out what that is, whether it's adult daycare or home care or maybe assisted living or skilled nursing, because we have assisted living as well. But the premise is the answer is yes, we can help you. Now let's talk to you about what your loved one needs. Exactly.
We're chatting with Andrew Banoff. We're going to be right back. 203-333-9422. If you've got a question about taking care of an elderly person in Fairfield County, Andrew Banoff is a source of enormous information on this. He's been the executive director of Mosaic Senior Life for a really long time. 203-333-9422. We'll be right back.
Your schedule may change in the summer, but WICC still has all the latest local news and our full lineup of talk you need every day. Melissa in the Morning, The Lisa Wexler Show, The Download, and Connecticut Today with Paul Pacelli, plus live local news updates at the top and bottom of the hour, along with traffic and weather. We're live and local and here for you every day on the Voice of Connecticut, WICC 600 and 95.9.
WICC 600 and 95.9, The Voice of Connecticut. Online at thevoiceofct.com. Thanks to Fairfield University School of Engineering and Computing.
For over a century, Abriola Parkview Funeral Home in Trumbull has been a beacon of support and compassion for families navigating the profound challenges of grief and loss. Family owned since 1906, we are dedicated to helping you honor your loved ones with dignity and respect. Trust our experienced team to guide you through this difficult time, allowing you to celebrate a life well lived. Abriola.com. Your legacy, our commitment.
Whoever said all good things must come to an end did not have a Rinnai tankless water heater. Hi, this is Seamus from Tri-City Home Solutions. Rinnai tankless water heaters offer unlimited hot water for the most demanding residential and commercial applications. You can save up to $1,000 on the installation of a new water heater now until June 30th with Tri-City and Rinnai. Visit us at TriCityHomeSolutions.com. Never run out of hot water again.
Call 203-877-HEAT, Tri-City.
Experience the future of luxury with the all-new electric Escalade IQ, now available at Cadillac of Greenwich. Standard with hands-free driver assistance technology and Super Cruise. The Escalade IQ offers undeniable style and uncompromising comfort with the longest range of any electric vehicle SUV. Arrive in style with this pinnacle of modern automotive excellence. Visit CadillacofGreenwich.com today and elevate your driving experience with the iconic 2025 Cadillac Electric Escalade IQ.
Lost one or more teeth to gum disease, tooth decay, or an injury? Downtown Dental can help with top-notch care to get your healthy and beautiful smile back. And at the lowest price around, guaranteed. Get dental implants for $999 with crowns and dental implants in a day. Get the best quality at the guaranteed lowest price. You will only find at Downtown Dental. With offices in Bridgeport, Norwalk, or West Haven, dental implants just $999. Visit downtowndentalct.com.
Hi, I'm Lee Gainham, that garden guy from Gainham's Garden Center and Florist in Fairfield. Do you have questions about your garden? Tune into that garden guy Sunday mornings at 8 for an hour of lively talk about your favorite pastime. We'll have weekly do's and don'ts and gardening tips of the week for our specific area, and we'll take your phone calls so we can offer solutions to problems you may be having in your lawn and garden right now. Call in and talk with me, that garden guy, Sunday mornings at 8 on WICC 600 and 95.9.
She's keeping you up to date on what really matters. The Lisa Wexler Show, only on WICC 600 and 95.9, the voice of Connecticut.
And we're back with Andrew Banoff, who's the executive director of Mosaic Senior Life, which is the headline, the banner, if you will, for an astonishing array of services to elderly people. You know, Andrew, I was listening to you. I was not aware that Connecticut had a moratorium against building nursing homes. We have an increasingly aging population. I'm just curious, because of what you see from 40,000 feet, is the trend towards people staying longer in their own homes with money follows the person, which is a Connecticut special way in which we can fund people staying in their homes? Or given how successful the Mosaic Senior Nursing Home model is there a demand for building more like that?
So I think it's a great segue and framework for what people are thinking about as the population ages. The statistic that probably is most relevant is the baby boom demographic, the group that's coming, obviously, into the
I'm
senior
the baby
world.
boom. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
We start turning 85 in the year 2031.
85?
That
seems like a long way.
Baby boomers are coming.
Oh, because it's a big generation, post-war generation. I'm at the tail end of it.
Right.
Got it.
1946 is the
Yeah.
beginning. 2031, they start turning 85. Senior care is largely for people 85 and older.
Is that right?
Yep.
85. Okay, good to know.
That's the big number.
Okay.
Plenty of people need it sooner, but generally the vast majority of the population we serve are in their 80s and 90s and 100s. But the baby boom demographic starts to impact this conversation starting in, amazingly, just 6 more years.
Yeah.
And then the impact from 2031 for the rest of our working lives is just absolutely enormous. So the question that you asked, which is really critical, is where are people going to be cared for, recognizing people want to be cared for at home, and how many nursing homes and assisted living facilities do we need? Because people don't go to the nursing home because they want to necessarily. They go because they need to.
They need to.
They've got advanced dementia. They've got advanced medical conditions. Literally, they're in their late 90s and 100s and just have true aged issues related to...
And they don't have family that can do it.
And it's hard.
And it is hard.
Family caregiving is extremely hard. So I think the message about nursing homes is it's a piece of the puzzle. The policy in Connecticut, which I think is amazing that we were thinking about this 20, 30 years ago, our leadership in the legislature said we're going to shift resources to rebalance, was the term, the system from more heavily weighted nursing home to more heavily weighted community care. And we shifted from 70-30 skilled nursing to 70-30 community-based.
Really?
In the last 20 years.
Wow.
Policy really does work when you invest in the long term, and our legislatures honestly led the country along with some other states that have taken this seriously. So we've done a good job of making the shift, investing not only in things like adult daycare that people understand, but we have a program called Adult Family Living where we can pay your caregiver, whether it be your daughter, your cousin, your friend, your neighbor, to be your caregiver in your home to enable you to stay safely in the home instead of moving into the nursing home. That's another one of our great programs that not everybody knows about.
When you say our, you mean the state of Connecticut or Mosaic in particular?
Both.
Both.
So it is enabled in the state of Connecticut, and it is offered by Mosaic.
Really?
So it's a resource that until you start to get into the system, you don't necessarily know about. And the last comment I'd make is people don't call us in advance. They call us when they need us.
I know that.
Right? So the planning part of this conversation, and I applaud you for tackling it on your show, which covers so many amazing subjects, is aging is important. Generally, we don't want to think about it till we need it.
I know.
But a little bit
Don't forget, I'm a probate judge. How many people die without a will?
Right.
A lot.
It's unfortunate. Listen, how many people have advanced directives for themselves and their loved ones? And unfortunately, the healthcare system bears the brunt of when that doesn't exist, as you know. So anyway, we're just trying to bring awareness to the subject. We welcome these conversations, even when they're too early. And that's why we have, as you know, the Care Navigation Program, which is free, open to the public, and one of these welcome resources just to say, call us when you have a question. Nobody needs care. We may or may not be the right place that care would ever be given, but our Care Navigation resources, and there's lots of people that do this work, we're one of the places. The Care Navigators are there to say, how can we help you think through these issues? Mom is aging, mom took a fall, dad is showing some signs of dementia, whatever the issues are, even if you're not ready to make those decisions, it's okay to start to think about them, and it's okay to have a professional. And our team is amazing. I am so blessed to be surrounded by these dedicated professionals that are so much more expert than I am. And they're engaging, they're warm, they're caring, and they're there to say, how can we help you? There is no charge for it. It's a wonderful way to say, let us be a resource. And we do lots of these community events in order to be able to say, talk to us.
Yeah. 203-333-9422. You can call me at 203-333-9422. I'm with Andrew Banoff, and he is the leader of Mosaic, which used to be known as the Jewish Home for the Aged, and has an extraordinarily wide-rangingly superb reputation. I'm not saying anything that's a secret to anybody about the way that they've cared for elderly people. I also know, Andrew, that, and I just got a text from a listener, that you've got something amazing going on in Stamford. What's going on in Stamford?
So one of the things that we get asked all the time is, beyond skilled nursing and assisted living, what do you have for those of us that are still independent and active, but we want a place that's going to be secure and safe and provide amazing resources as well? And after a long search for land, we found this beautiful 15-acre site in Stamford on Long Ridge Road. It's now in construction.
Was it always empty, or was it like converted commercial use? Like, what was it?
It was 15 acres of beautiful trees. It's a park-like setting between a corporate office park and a medical office building, but it's on Long Ridge Road in the center of Stamford. Nobody believed there was 15 acres there.
I'm shocked myself.
But we were fortunate enough to be introduced to it and purchased it from the company that owned it. And we went through the approvals. We got zoning. We obviously got the financing. We closed on the financing and started construction just 2 months ago in April. The dirt piles there right now are just enormous. And in literally a couple of weeks, the first foundations are going to be poured. The community, which is primarily independent living for seniors. It's a life plan community is the concept. Almost 90% already under deposit, pre-sold.
Even though no one's seen a room.
Even though it doesn't exist, it's all on paper with some beautiful pictures.
That shows you the demand.
The response from the community, from Greenwich to Fairfield and everywhere in between, including, towns like New York and Florida where people are coming back to be near their kids.
That makes sense.
The response has been tremendous, and we knew the demand was there, but obviously it's proven now, and we're so excited to be able to, be in Stamford to expand the work that we do, but to be offering another level of care that we knew was needed, and clearly...
Is this like a buy-in where you sort of buy your own home there?
It's
like a condo almost?
It's not a condo. It's called a life plan community where there is an entrance fee and a monthly fee. The financial arrangement is such that you are committed to us and we're committed to you to care for you for the rest of your life, regardless of level of care.
Okay.
So it includes skilled nursing, includes assisted living, includes memory care. It includes everything you will ever need, including the pool and the spa and some lovely amenities. But the premise is you will be taken care of so your kids don't have to worry.
I see.
And the idea is, yes, there's an entrance fee that is generally 90% refundable. That's the model of the financing. And then you pay a monthly fee that covers your utilities, taxes, meals, and everything that you would ever need to do. As I like to say, including the maintenance and changing the light bulbs, which I don't want to do anymore.
Right.
But it's a beautiful concept. There are a number of these already in Connecticut. They exist all over the country. We did not invent the idea, but certainly it'll be the newest one in Connecticut when it opens in 2027.
That's amazing. And before we go, Andrew Banoff, can you tell people how to find you for free assistance in navigating care and understanding what could be ahead and the resources? If they want to find out more about what's going on, I'm hearing 10% might still be available in Stamford. And of course, if they need you to know more about the nursing home right here on Park Avenue in Bridgeport, what's the best way to find you, to find your organization?
I think the easiest is our website, where all of these resources are clearly identified, including the Care Navigation Program. Our website is mosaicsl.org. And as you said correctly, thank you, it's MOZAICSL for seniorliving.org.
MosaicSL.org. And I just want to thank you because you've become another sponsor of the Lisa Wexler Show, which means we're going to have your logo. If you can't remember this or you're driving, but you remember that you heard about it on our show, just go on lisawexler.com and click the tab, and we'll be able to link you right through that way. So mosaicsl.org, MOZAICSL.org. And, of course, you can always find me at Lisa at voiceofct.com, and I'll be happy to give you the direct link that way myself. Andrew Banoff, thanks for coming in. We'll see more of you this year.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lisa.
We'll be right back with more of the Lisa Wexler Show. Stay tuned.
For more of Lisa Wexler's views, sign up for her daily podcast.
Your business or service can reach thousands of listeners with The Lisa Wexler Show. Lisa's listeners are devoted and loyal. They should know how great your business is. Advertise on The Lisa Wexler Show. Lisa will work with you directly to craft a message that resonates with listeners. Plus, you'll get introduced to the members of The Lisa Wexler Show family. Advertise on The Lisa Wexler Show. Just email Lisa at voiceofct.com. That's Lisa at voiceofct.com.
Are you looking for a school for your child with a learning challenge? Winston Preparatory School is a leading school network for students with learning disabilities, including dyslexia, ADHD, and nonverbal learning disorders. Learn more about Winston Prep's highly individualized learning programs in Connecticut, Long Island, and New York that will help your child thrive. Visit winstonprep.edu for more information and schedule an in-person visit for a campus closest to you today.
Sono Collision, Fairfield County's best for top-quality collision repairs. We deliver unmatched precision and care to restore your vehicle. Trust us for excellence. Visit sonocollision.com or call 203-939-9955.
Selling your home is a numbers game. The more potential buyers who see it, the greater the opportunity to sell. And when your home is listed on Smart MLS, more than 21,000 realtors see it, and so do all their buyers. Suddenly, the number of people looking at your home starts to grow by a lot. More realtors sharing your listing, more people seeing your home, more offers coming in, and maybe even more cash in your pocket. Smart move, right? Ask your realtor. Is my house on Smart MLS? Smart MLS, the smart way to sell your home.
Life's busier and crazier than ever, and nothing is more disappointing than a lousy meal. But you'll always have a great meal at family-owned AB's Falafel. It's fresh, delicious, and full of flavor. In fact, AB's Falafel is consistently voted best Middle Eastern food in Connecticut. Enjoy shawarma, kebabs, hummus, falafel, and everything in between. Made with care from family recipes. Plus, AB's Patio is now open. AB's Falafel, 10 Broadway Road, Trumbull. absfalafel.com.
Touchdowns, goals, spikes. What was this week's Play of the Week in local high school sports? Check out the High School Sports Play of the Week at therudinreport.com. See and subscribe. Powered by the new Genesis of Richfield, located in Norwalk.
Lost one or more teeth to gum disease, tooth decay, or an injury? Downtown Dental can help with top-notch care to get your healthy and beautiful smile back. And at the lowest price around, guaranteed. Get dental implants for $999 with crowns and dental implants in a day. Get the best quality at the guaranteed lowest price you will only find at Downtown Dental. With offices in Bridgeport, Norwalk, or West Haven, dental implants just $999. Visit downtowndentalct.com.
Frank Pepe Pizzeria, celebrating 100 years of Abits.
My grandfather, Frank Pepe, didn't just create Abits. He created a gathering place that our family is still proud to share to this day. My mother and aunt built on his dream. Today, my siblings, cousins, and I are honored to continue the tradition. Pepe's has always been about family, ours and the generations of families who gather at our tables.
Frank Pepe Pizzeria, Passionate about pizza since 1925. Visit your local Pepe's today.
Walk when they say you can't stand. Laugh when they say you won't speak. When you're recovering from a severe illness or injury, even the smallest tasks can be the greatest mountains to climb. But at Gaylord Specialty Healthcare, we're not just doctors and nurses and therapists. We're experts and specialists and leaders. And we do whatever it takes to make your recovery possible. Gaylord Specialty Healthcare. Think possible.
Now hiring for night nurse positions. Go to gaylord.org/nursing to learn more.
Where Greenwich comes first for news and talk. The Lisa Wexler Show on the Voice of Connecticut, WICC 600 and 95.9.
Hola, welcome back to the show. 203-333-9422 is our number. You can call me at 203-333-9422. Mayor Laura Hoydick. We're going to focus on Stratford in the next hour. That's going to be a lot of fun. She'll be joining us in the studio. And Wayne Winston will be coming in at 11:30 as well. It's not just black and white. Bunch of Connecticut stories I want to catch you up on. There's a bunch of conversation. You know how the immigration news is very much in the news. Well, one of the top Connecticut stories today has to do with the fact that Connecticut plans to stand by offering health benefits to undocumented people. And this is something that Connecticut had committed to. When it committed to it, it didn't quite, like anything else, whenever the legislature decides that they're going to do something, they make an estimate of how much it's going to cost. Sometimes they under and sometimes they over. And the data is now in. And actually, it has cost a lot more than the state of Connecticut ever thought that it would cost in order to fund this program. But so far, it looks like our leaders are still committed to keeping it going. And there's a really good article that was published in the Connecticut Mirror today. Hats off to Katie Galvala for the stats and data that are located here. The headline is that for now, amid threats of penalties, Connecticut plans to stand by offering these health benefits to undocumented people. It's often referred to as Husky for immigrants. It covers children 15 and under, as well as women who are pregnant and up to a year post-pregnancy. The children who are enrolled are covered until they turn 19. So even though they have to be under 15, they can be covered until they turn 19. And as of April 2025, roughly 15,600 kids and 3,200 women are receiving benefits through the program. What's interesting is the federal government does not fund this program. Connecticut does. But the federal government is negotiating a bill in which it says that if a state does what Connecticut is doing, it might be penalized. It might be penalized with other federal funding not coming to Connecticut simply because Connecticut has decided to take some of its state money to cover some of these insurance costs. Rob Blanchard is the governor's spokesperson, emailing Governor Lamont supports providing medical coverage for children regardless of immigration status. And so some states like Connecticut have chosen to launch Medicaid-like programs that offer coverage to people who would otherwise qualify if not for their immigration status. So these are poor people. In other words, they're people that meet the income status. In fiscal year 2025, Connecticut will spend an estimated $30 million for children and $11 million for women, regardless of their immigration status. Pregnant women also, and that's for the postpartum, pregnant women also receive coverage through CHIP, the Children's Health Insurance Program, for which the federal government covers 65% of the cost. In the last fiscal year, Connecticut contributed almost $6 million to that. There are critics who say that these resources should not go to people who are not here lawfully. There are other people who think it's a matter of compassion and kindness and our state's values in order to help children with their basic health care and women who have just given birth. But what's interesting to me is that the state budget at the time allocated for 2024 $11.5 million, but it ended up costing $23 million in that year. And it's on track to cost $30 million in 2025. And so basically we thought that we would have 4,250 kids to sign up. But by April 2024, over a year ago, 11,000 children had enrolled. So we greatly underestimated the amount of undocumented children and women, and we greatly underestimated, therefore, the costs. Around the country, a handful of states, including California, Illinois, and Minnesota, are considering cutbacks to their program because of the higher than projected costs. But in Connecticut thus far, it looks like Senator Kathy Austin, Democrat of Sprague, co-chair of Appropriations, saying refusing medical coverage to undocumented residents wouldn't save as much as some hope, because then the residents would be more likely to seek care in hospital emergency rooms, which cannot refuse treatment to anyone under state law. And also, she said, it didn't sit right with her morally. I guess I just look at children in the world as needing health care, she said. And I think we should support all of them. 203-333-9422. Let's go to the phones. Martha from Shelton. Hi, Martha. What's on your mind today? Hello.
Okay, I wanted to ask you a question, Lisa. My daughter was going through some of her papers, and she came across my document concerning withdrawal or withholding of life support systems. Mm-hmm. Now, this was drawn up in 1994. Would I have to renew that, or could I keep that?
You can keep it. It's perfectly good. I want you to read it, Martha, and make sure that the people that you've designated in that document are still the people that you trust and would want to make those decisions for you.
Very good.
Okay?
Yes.
Don't worry about the language.
Lisa.
Thank you so much. Pleasure.
Take care now.
Thanks
Bye-bye.
for calling. 203-333-9422. A lot of times, and it's understandable, people think if documents are old, they're no good. And sometimes that's true. But more often than not, it's not a question about the fact of their age. We admit wills that are decades old. I've admitted wills, from the 70s and 80s. It's rare, but it happens, certainly in the 90s. The question is, does the document still work for you? Are the people that you've named in the document still the people that are alive and that would be willing to act in that position, in that role for you? And it also helps to read the language. If it's a healthcare proxy or a life withdrawal or removing of nutrition or hydration, are those still your wishes? So, Martha, I would read the document closely and carefully. If it is not current enough for you, if it no longer represents what you like, you don't need a lawyer for healthcare documents. They're lifted directly out of the statutes. You can literally go on Google and you can ask for the statutory healthcare proxy, healthcare representative, life support documents. And then the most important thing, so you don't need a lawyer to draft them at all. What you do need is for them to be properly witnessed by two people who have no interest in your health care, by two people who are not going to benefit from, God forbid, something bad happening to you. So you need two disinterested witnesses and then a notary. So you really need three people at a table, which is why most people tend to go to lawyers that have those kind of setups. But the healthcare proxies are not drafted by lawyers. The lawyers lift them from the statutes as well. 203-333-9422 is our number. We'll be right back.
The Lisa Wexler Show on WICC 600 AM and 107.3 FM. And wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, you'll find the best of Lisa, too.
How much do you really know about designing a bathroom? At WinBath, we know and are here to help with top brands like Toto, Groa, and Moen. Our WinBath design consultants guide you through every step, whether you're remodeling or refreshing. We make it stress-free. WinBath Kitchen and Bath Showroom in Shelton is ready to help you design your perfect bathroom. Visit our showroom at 14 Forest Parkway or call 203-925-7603 today. Winning bathrooms with WinBath.
Come out to Yankee Stadium on Saturday, June 28th to see the Yankees on a very special day. It's Military Appreciation Day. The first 18,000 guests 21 and older will receive a camo Yankees t-shirt courtesy of Budweiser. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com/tickets. Again, that's Military Appreciation Day on Saturday, June 28th, where the first 18,000 guests 21 and older will receive a camo Yankees t-shirt. Visit Yankees.com/tickets today.
Safety, security, control, just some of the reasons to call Nick and his team at Property Protection Consulting. Hey, it's Melissa, and I use PPC for our doorbell cameras, smart thermostats, and surveillance cameras because they make my home and family feel safe and secure. Plus, everything is easy to operate. It's all on one app, and if something goes wrong, somebody from the team comes out right away. For security systems for your home or business, book a complimentary consultation with locally owned Property Protection Consulting at ppcalarms.com. Tell them Melissa sent you.
I remember brushing my hair and looking down and thinking, oh my gosh, do I have any hair left?
I used to look at women with thick, beautiful hair and think, why doesn't my hair look like that?
My thinning hair is making me feel so old.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume from New Nordic. With clinically proven ingredients like apple extract, biotin, and millet, Hair Volume nourishes your hair follicles to promote thicker, healthier-looking hair. Say goodbye to shedding, thin, and dull hair, and hello to thick, healthy hair with Hair Volume.
Since taking Hair Volume, the shedding has all but stopped.
Now, instead of being jealous of other women's hair, I have friends who are jealous of mine.
My hairdresser couldn't believe the difference in my hair. Now she's using Hair Volume too.
Available as a tablet or delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com, or find Hair Volume in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Back to the news and talk. Thanks to Smart MLS. Smart sellers ask, is my home on Smart MLS? The voice of Connecticut. WICC 695.9. It's the Lisa Wexler Show.
In some breaking news, the Supreme Court just now, as reported by Axios, upheld state laws that ban gender-affirming care for transgender youth. Roughly half the states now have such laws on the books. And the significance of this decision is obviously, now that it's been held to be constitutional, there may be more states that join that. It was a 6-3 ruling. The court said Tennessee can continue to enforce a ban on hormone therapy and other treatments. The central question in the case was whether Tennessee was regulating the practice of medicine or discriminating on the basis of sex. If it was discriminating on the basis of sex, it would have been much higher for the Supreme Court to say, yes, they could do it. But regulating the practice of medicine is something that states routinely do. It is something within the purview of state government. According to Chief Justice John Roberts, who wrote for the majority, the state does not have to meet a higher standard that is associated with discrimination. And what he said was, this case carries with it the weight of fierce scientific and policy debates about the safety, efficacy, and propriety of medical treatments in an evolving field. Questions regarding the law's policy are appropriately left to the people, their elected representatives, and the democratic process. So I haven't read the case yet, but I'm letting you know this has been a very big area in what I would call culture wars, but more than culture wars, because culture wars sometimes have to do with how people are referred to, whether they're pronouns, etc. This is something of far more lasting significance. And the Free Press has been doing a series of reporting on this, going back to a very big case study in Europe. And in England, the United Kingdom decided to completely transform their attitude. For many years, they had believed that operating, doing medical procedures that may be irrevocable with respect to hormones or surgeries on growing people that felt that they had gender dysmorphia, that they were in the wrong body of the gender that they were biologically born with, that was appropriate in order to preserve the mental well-being of the child that was growing up. And so they routinely allowed parents to go ahead and give consent for what they call gender-affirming care in minors. They changed their mind. They banned it. They started to lead the way. Other European countries have since banned it based on their interpretation of medical evidence that showed that there was sort of a business that was arising that was profiting from, that was exploiting a lot of adolescents and pre-adolescents that had genuine confusion about their sexuality, that often these hormonal treatments and these surgeries irrevocably damaged and changed people who then, when they were in their 20s, said, wait a minute, what did I do? And never had the chance to undo what was done to them. And as a matter of psychiatry and medicine, they felt that youth, this is what's happening in the UK, they felt that young people who were struggling with their sexuality should have the benefit of psychiatry and talk and discussion, but not hormones and surgeries. That hormones and surgeries could and should wait until a person is of age enough to make that decision for him or herself. So you've seen a sea change in Europe. And in the United States, we have not had that. In the United States, it seems to come down to sometimes a conservative versus liberal thinking about these issues. Whereas in the UK, they've taken it away from politics. They've given it back to the doctors. So in Tennessee, which as we know is a conservative state, and in other southern states, they have banned this. They have said to doctors and parents, we are not allowing you, whether you want to elect to do it or not, whether you think it's in the best interests of your child or not. We think it's poor medical care, and we're not allowing you to do it here. And so people who were affected by that said, wait a minute, you're discriminating against us on the basis of our gender, on the basis of our sexual orientation. This is a discrimination case. This is not a medical case. And what the Supreme Court said today in a vote of 6-3 is, no, we don't see it that way. We see this as an evolving field of medicine. And therefore, we think that the state, which has a rational basis upon which to make this decision, is entitled to make this decision. So it's a big case. And if you're thinking about how people think about gender, you're going to want to read it and understand it. 203-333-9422 is our number. You can call me at 203-333-9422. In the world of the New Haven airport and the people that are surrounded by it in East Haven, one of the biggest complaints that they have is noise. And another very big complaint is that the air quality that they now live in, surrounded by this airport with all these planes taking off and landing, has compromised their actual health. In a story today in the New Haven Register, Mark Zaretsky reporting, Tweed is offering free air purifiers to the neighbors after they have uttered these concerns, agreeing with them that their air quality has been so compromised that their indoor air needs to be cleaner. So Tweed Airport is going to distribute 815 air purifiers to nearby residents in both New Haven and East Haven for free. These are high-efficiency air purifiers. They will go to 496 households in New Haven and 319 in East Haven. Michael Jones is the CEO of the subsidiary of the airport operator, the New Haven, that runs Tweed, says, when the community speaks up, we believe airports should be part of the solution. But what's interesting is the neighbors, if you ask them about it, they're like, you're giving us air purifiers for our house, which is telling me that the air outside our houses is no good. We're already stuck in our homes. And some other people said that Laura McHugh saying the purifiers send a sign to the neighbors that the air isn't good as is, and what it does is confine us in our house. And she's not even sure if the air purifiers might help. She said the soundproof doors and windows officials gave them before do help with the noise, but it's still loud. She said, we can't open our windows. It was all right when we had 6 or 7 flights, but now they're going to have 32 flights. 32 flights a day from New Haven Airport. The traffic here is disgusting. Quote, it is a nice neighborhood. It was a beautiful neighborhood, and now the planes are ruining it. I know how you feel. It is a very nice neighborhood. I drive by it all the time when I go to the airport, to Avelo, and I do feel for you. I really do. Airport officials are sympathetic as well, and it's a rough decision. The airport was always there. It just was an underutilized airport, and now it's being maximized and expanded and utilized more than anybody dreamt that it would be used based on the condition that it was in when you moved there. And I really do feel bad for you because I'm very sensitive to noise. I've also noticed, can we raise our hands in Fairfield County? How many more of us hear planes at night coming over our houses? Anybody? Me? Am I the only one that hears the noise at night between 8 and 10 p.m. now? And I'm reminded of growing up in the shadow of JFK, which I did for my entire growing up life, where we had to stop classes at Lawrence High School to let the planes go overhead, and then we could resume. The noise was so loud it shook the building. So I hate the noise. I hate the plane noise. I know we've had Jim Himes on the show. He promised that at some point in time there were going to be much quieter planes. I'm not seeing it yet. I still think the planes are extremely noisy. And I'm sorry about the air purifying stuff, too. In the meantime, in other airport news at Bradley, this is really sort of cool. There's something called a care station tucked against a terminal wall near Gate 20 if you happen to be going to Bradley, where you can get remote healthcare technology for free. Of course, a high-definition camera will be dropping from the ceiling, and a PA, a physician's assistant, will be examining you from afar and offer suggestions for treatment or even a prescription. It says you're automatically weighed. Well, that would finish me. I would never get up on the scale. And an automated blood pressure cuff, stethoscope, and pulse oximeter can collect data on your vital signs and relay them to a caregiver. Maybe this is not free. Is this free? Dr. Prem Kumar, president of Hartford Healthcare Medical Group, spoke at a news conference yesterday at Bradley, said whether you're a traveler catching a flight, you're in between journeys, or an airport employee on your lunch break, our doors are open. Is this free? I have to understand if this is free. Let me just see here. It's a telehealth visit with diagnostic data. To get care, all you need to do is walk in, close the door, and start talking to a medical worker via the screen. Anyone can use it. It says most health insurance covers a visit. Okay, it's not free, but if you're insured, they say that you can probably get it covered. And Hartford Healthcare said they didn't even know how much the average cost of a visit would be, saying it varied, and they're hoping for 5 to 6 patients a day to visit the site. If you've got a delay, you got nothing better to do, you find yourself in Bradley Airport, and you feel like getting your vitals checked before you get on a plane, I don't know. I would do it. I think it's pretty cool. Anyway, they probably want to bring it to more places. But, it depends how long it takes to set up and how much of my life they want to know about before I go ahead and sign in. A lot of people get very nervous on their way to a flight. They might want to know that their vitals are good. I'm Lisa Wexler. In the next hour, I'm excited to meet Mayor Laura Hoydick in the studio, chat with her about what's happening in Stratford. If you live in Stratford or work there, 203-333-9422. It's your chance to ask the mayor. And Wayne Winston will follow at 11:30. We'll catch up on what's not just black and white. You're listening to the Lisa Wexler Show today here on WICC, your community radio station. We'll be right back.
WICC Bridgeport, WFOX Southport, WEBE HD2 Westport, WPLR HD2 New Haven, locally owned by Connoisseur Media.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Steve Kathan. The U.S. Supreme Court has upheld Tennessee's ban on gender-affirming care for transgender minors. The ruling has an impact on 26 states with similar laws. Legal contributor Jessica Levinson.
The court is looking at this law and saying, what is the classification on the basis of? Is it on the basis of transgender status? The court says no, it's on the basis of age, because this says minors cannot use certain treatments, and it's on the basis of medical usage.
By one estimate, there are 300,000 people between 13 and 17 who identify as transgender in the U.S. President Trump today called Iran schoolyard bullies in the Middle East as Israel continued to pound targets in Iran from the air. Trump was asked this morning if he plans to order U.S. forces to attack Iran.
You don't know that I'm going to even do it. You don't know. I may do it. I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do. I can tell you this, that Iran's got a lot of trouble, and they want to negotiate.
Trump's demand for an unconditional surrender was rejected by Iran's supreme leader, who warned against American intervention. CBS News contributor H.R. McMaster, a former Trump national security advisor, on what the president may mean when he says unconditional surrender.
I think what he really means is complete dismantlement of the nuclear program, of its missile programs, and a very intrusive inspection and verification regime associated with that dismantlement.
Overseas, and a new development involving a much-talked-about member of Britain's royal family.
The Princess of Wales has pulled out of the traditional carriage procession at Royal Ascot, one of British horse racing's prime events. Last year, Kate failed to attend because she was still undergoing treatments for an undisclosed form of cancer. This year's decision seems to have come at very short notice, with royal sources saying only that the princess is still trying to get the balance right as she slowly returns to public life. Vicki Barker, CBS News, London.
Federal Reserve policymakers are expected to keep their key interest rate unchanged for the fourth straight time as they wrap up a two-day meeting in a few hours. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
They really want to make sure that we don't see a big surge in inflation from those tariffs, and they haven't seen that yet, but they fear that in the next coming months, we could see that move.
President Trump today called Fed Chairman Powell stupid for not cutting rates. Japan's Nippon Steel and U.S. Steel say they've completed a partnership deal in which the U.S. government will essentially have veto power over significant decisions affecting American jobs. And checking Wall Street, right now the Dow Jones Industrial Average is up about 250 points. This is CBS News.
A word from Progressive Insurance. Life can be hard, so Progressive can make bundling your home and auto easy. Hope that helps. Learn more at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
The Peace Lily is so last year. Hey, has anyone worked with fiddlenecks?
Shelby's popular flower shop is in full bloom.
We just got a request for an arrangement that evokes air. Who's up for that challenge? No?
She needs to hire a floral designer to nip foliage faux pas in the bud.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our advanced matching helps find talented candidates so you can connect with them fast. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
WICC 695.9, Voice of Connecticut Local News Update.
This update is brought to you by Courtesy Carpet Flooring Design Center. Now is the time for a fresh new look for your home. Save on top flooring brands at Courtesy Carpet. No big box gimmicks, just fair, honest prices. Courtesy Carpet, Route 111, Monroe. Testimony is underway in the trial of Raul Valley, charged with murder in the deadly stabbing of Fairfield Prep student James McGrath. Valley was 16 years old when he allegedly killed McGrath and wounded other teens during a fight at a party in Shelton. Police and emergency medical technicians who responded to the scene in May of 2022 were among the first witnesses to testify yesterday. Also taking the stand was a state medical examiner who testified that McGrath died from a stab wound to the chest. Almost 24 dogs were rescued yesterday, with officials saying their owner got in over his head. 22 dogs were taken from a home in Oxford, with some having severe flea issues and rashes, one of which was pregnant. The animals are currently being treated by vets. The owner is being charged with animal cruelty, and animal control officers said the unnamed man meant well and tried to help the dogs, but could not and ended up harming them instead. For the Voice of Connecticut WICC, I'm John Kamal.
WICC 695.9, the Voice of Connecticut. Weather update.
Cloudy with some breaks of sun through this afternoon. It will be a warmer day with a high in the mid-70s and a breeze out of the south. A few widely scattered showers this evening and overnight. Mild and muggy with a low in the upper 60s. Sunny and hot tomorrow with a high near 90. There will be late-day showers and thunderstorms. I'm meteorologist Paul Piorek on WICC.
Attorney, advocate, author, public speaker. The Lisa Wexler Show. Flip that switch and turn on your brain. Here is Lisa Wexler.
And welcome to the show. I'm so delighted. Joining us in studio, Mayor Laura Hoydick of Stratford. Hi, Mayor.
Hi, Lisa. Thanks for
So
having
nice.
me.
Oh, yeah, it's wonderful to have you. All right, so let's launch right in, Mayor. You not only wear the hat as Mayor of Stratford, but you also are the leader of the Connecticut Conference of Municipalities. Is that true?
I'm the president, yes.
You're the president. That's amazing. Do you have to be in a position of being a mayor or first selectman of a town to be the leader of that?
You have to be a member of CCM. Sometimes it's a town manager or an administrative officer or a first
I want
selectman
to think, Mike, a
or
little
mayor.
higher. Oh,
Or
there you
mayor.
go.
Is that
Very
better?
good. Speak loudly. That'd be
Okay.
great. Yeah. Okay. So, but it's in your capacity. It's in your role. In other
Yes.
words, if you were a private citizen, you could not be the leader of the CCM.
You could not be president, no.
Okay. And what is the stated mission of CCM?
The stated mission is to represent municipalities in the best interest of all of Connecticut's small towns and cities.
It's 169. It's all of them.
169. It's a membership organization, and we have 168 members.
Wow. Who doesn't belong?
I think it's Vernon.
Vernon. That's interesting. Okay. All right. So you've got all these people belonging, all these, all these towns belonging. And I thought it was an extraordinary thing. And I thought I saw your name signing the letter. I read the letter. This was on Housing Bill 5002, which Governor Lamont has not signed yet.
Right.
And after the legislature voted yes, and I want to ask you about the timing of this. That's when CCM took a really hard look at this and wrote the letter opposing it and asking Governor Lamont to veto it.
So we had been campaigning internally or lobbying, whatever term you would like to use, before session ended, because there were some really negative things in that proposed bill that would affect municipalities adversely. No parking requirements, a privilege as of right to convert a commercial building to residential. There's a lot of things in it. I understand the advocacy efforts from the majority leader, who is a friend of mine, but we didn't all agree on some things and worked very hard to make I hate to say bad bill better, because that's what you hear a lot, but to make it more palatable. And it didn't quite get there. And so then the next CCM meeting that we had, we took the poll of those present.
Oh, and that was after they had already passed it.
And people were, the representatives in this first selectmen's and mayors were very upset about it continuing to go through. And that's when we sent the letter.
And Mayor Laura Hoydick, you have legislative experience yourself.
I do. I was a state rep for 8 years.
For 8 years. So these are your friends, your collaborators, your colleagues, and you know how the sausage is made. You've been there.
Yes, I have been there.
So you know about the 3 a.m.s and the votes and when people are too tired to keep going. And
yes,
what did you think about, and I'm asking you just as a former legislator, what did you think about the process for 5002?
So the process was transparent. And the reason I'm saying this is because the proponents have been advocating for this for years. Most recently in the last 2 years, when the majority leader really took the leadership role.
Majority leader of Senate or House?
House, Representative Rojas.
Okay,
Rojas.
Thank you.
And so we knew his intentions or their intentions, and so that's why we could campaign, advocate one way or another. And he wants housing to be affordable. And there's different ways of going about it. We started with desegregate Connecticut, which didn't work very well. And now we're at this point with 5002.
So you thought it was transparent. Some people thought that it was maybe transparent, but also, how can I put this? That it went from 1 to 92 pages very quickly.
But that's norm. I will tell you, there are, what do they call it? Aircraft carrier bills that are hundreds and hundreds of pages. There have been times when I was there that the budget was dropped early hours of the morning of 600 pages. It's a lot sometimes.
Okay.
But when I mean transparent, this language and the focus had been discussed in committees, in various committees. You just don't know how it's going to come together, and you don't exactly know if you should be lobbying against something or for something because you don't know if it's going to be realized.
So at this meeting of the Connecticut Conference of Municipalities, we're chatting with Stratford Mayor Laura Hoydick, who is also the president of CCM. At this meeting, who attended? Was it Zoom, in person? Tell me about this meeting.
So the meeting we had for CCM board and the previous meeting was for the legislative committee, was held in person in Wallingford. It was well advertised to our membership, and we probably had, I'm going to guess maybe 100 to 125 people there.
Really?
Right. And
wow.
Keith Vanna from the Connecticut Mirror was our speaker.
Was he really?
So he talked
he's a
about
great reporter.
He is. And he talked about the legislative process and what came out of the session, which was great to hear. And then we talked about issues that were important to the membership of CCM.
Was it an overwhelming vote to write the letter? Were there some dissenting votes?
There were some dissenting votes. I mean, there were probably 5 or 6 dissenting votes because they had been working with the majority leader to try to get their understandings through in the bill. But overwhelmingly, it was a majority to veto. To propose a veto to the governor.
How common is it that CCM asks a governor to veto a bill?
I'm sure we've done it, but it hasn't been done in my tenure. And this is my second year as president.
I can't remember seeing it. And I've been on the air a long time, but maybe I wasn't paying close enough attention. But I can't remember seeing it. Do you think that it landed with the kind of impact that you wanted it to have?
The recommendation for veto, the request? Yes.
You do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It wasn't disrespectful.
No,
it was
not at all.
Just, again, the transparency, stating the facts of what this group of people, this leadership group, was saying, why we don't like this bill.
And so rather than, because there are a bunch of different scenarios being played out, including having a special session of one day, including making a wink-wink handshake deal where the governor will sign it, but he'll extract a promise of an amendment. Your group felt that it should be vetoed and start afresh.
We felt it should be vetoed because then the process is much more transparent. If the governor signs it and is working behind the scenes is not the right way to say this, but is not working out in public, it's not on a committee level, what's happening and what changes should be made, you won't be able to see it as easily as you would if it was vetoed and then renegotiated. Or re-legislated.
And you feel that it had substantial impact. Do you know, are you at liberty to say what, if anything, is happening now that we in the press are not privy to with respect to 5002?
I do not know.
You do not know. We're chatting with Stratford Mayor Laura Hoydick. 203-333-9422. If you live or work in Stratford or you're interested in this issue of 5002, she's made herself an expert in it. Feel free to call in and with a comment or a question. We're going to be right back, and we're going to get into what's happening in and around Stratford. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Did you run out of the house and miss breakfast? And now there's nothing in the office kitchen? Then you need the WICC's City Line Florist Breakfast Brigade. We'll bring delicious treats from Cakes by Sonia and make our way around southern Connecticut until we reach your office. Sign up at voiceofct.com and the WICC's City Line Florist Breakfast Brigade will be on the way.
WICC 600 and 95.9, The Voice of Connecticut. Online at thevoiceofct.com. Thanks to Fairfield University School of Engineering and Computing. Your business or service can reach thousands of listeners with The Lisa Wexler Show. The award-winning show is consistently ranked in the top 5 talk radio shows in Connecticut. Lisa's listeners are devoted and loyal. They should know how great your business is. Advertise on The Lisa Wexler Show. Just email Lisa at voiceofct.com. That's Lisa at voiceofct.com. The Lisa Wexler Show. If you're thinking about it, Lisa's talking about it. And that includes you. Looking to make the most of your outdoor space? Call the certified arborists at Save a Tree. Save a Tree's team of experts provide lawn care, tree and shrub pruning, fertilization, and pest management services. Their specialists have the knowledge and experience to ensure your trees, shrubs, and lawn receive top quality care. Invest in your property and keep your home in shape year-round. Call Save a Tree at 203-853-9526 or visit treecare.com. That's treecare.com.
Who should you trust when it comes to your biggest investment? Someone local who's invested in the community and you. I'm Jonathan Carbuty with Carbuty Real Estate, and we're a family-owned business and have been serving the area since 1986. At Carbuty Real Estate, whether you need a cash offer or a more traditional listing, we're always the right place for you. Call me, Jonathan Carbuty, at 203-980-6886.
Sell your home smoothly when you call Carbuty. Go to CarbutyRealEstate.com.
Connecticut Paid Leave, making time for life's most important moments.
To recover from illness or injury.
To give your employees peace of mind.
To welcome home an active duty service member.
To help a loved one get better.
To get help for your mental health.
To welcome a new addition to your family.
To leave an unsafe home.
Learn more about accessing the benefits of Connecticut Paid Leave. Visit ctpaidleave.org.
The WICC 600 Surfside Hotel Greatest Bluefish Tournament on Earth is happening August 23rd and 4th. On sale now at bluefishtournament.com.
Who sells Continental tires for less than Town Fair Tire? Nobody. Who has a better selection of Continental tires than Town Fair Tire? Nobody. And who gives you more free services for the life of those Continental tires? Nobody. Town Fair Tire has over 100 locations and over 600,000 tires in stock, all at the guaranteed lowest price. And that's why we say nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
Name brands at discount prices. Town Fair Tire.
She's keeping you up to date on what really matters. The Lisa Wexler Show.
Only on WICC 600 and 95.9.
The voice of Connecticut.
We're with Mayor Laura Hoydick, who is the Stratford mayor, who has a re-election campaign coming up. Will that be your second term? How many terms would you be?
This will be my I'm going for my third term.
And they're 2-year terms?
They're 4-year
terms. They're 4-year terms, and you're going for a third term.
I am.
Good for you. Okay, so Mayor Hoydick, 203-333-9422. Tell me, what is the top agenda stuff going on in Stratford right now? What in your desk every day in terms of priority lately? What's the number one priority? What's going on?
It's quality of life. It is keeping taxes flat, which we have 7 out of the 8 years that they have been flat.
You're kidding.
No, I'm telling you the truth.
The mill rate's the same?
The mill rate's the same.
How have you been able to do that?
Because we've found efficiencies. We've had good bargaining contracts. We've had some luck with investments. We've had some luck with ARPA, even though COVID was terrible, but that's a whole nother thing. We've gotten some very good, very progressive grants.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Well, I think it might have helped being 8 years in the legislature. You probably understand how money flows.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
That's pretty key.
And having some good relationships in Hartford, that makes a big difference.
I bet that does. So, Mayor, 203-333-9422 on Stratford. Is there an airport in Stratford, Bridgeport there that people need to worry about the way the people in East Haven and New Haven are fretting, understandably, about how their quality of life has changed now that airport has grown so much?
Well, we should definitely take a look at New Haven, East Haven, and the relationships that they have. I'm happy to say that the airport is all in Stratford, but it is. The whole.
I don't know why I thought Bridgeport was part of it. Okay.
Well, Bridgeport owns it.
Oh, that's
the
what
city
it is.
of Bridgeport
Thank
owns
you.
it. Right.
Okay.
So on the airport commission I'm the one Stratford representative, and everybody else is from Bridgeport. So it's important that we work together. The city council president and I have developed a relationship. We'd like to see commercial service come to Stratford, but I would reasonable commercial service. I'd love it to be complementary to Tweed. It's a fuel-based operation currently now. We just went through a master planning segment 3 years ago.
I don't know, Mayor Hoydick. Be careful what you wish for. It brings a lot of quality of life problems to people who live near those airports.
It could, but I think that if it's done well, we have a lot of air traffic in our airport right now. You can see planes coming in every minute, sometimes every 30 seconds if it's busy. But
they're smaller planes.
They're jets. They're jets.
Yeah, but when you say commercial, so what's the difference? Are you talking about like private air commercial? What are you talking about?
Both. But it depends on what fits on the runway. And right now the technology is advancing, so there are smaller planes, so they can land on a shorter runway. So the Sikorsky Airport is bordered by the Great Salt Marsh,
right?
Which is a protective area.
Right, it's beautiful.
And then the other side is Main Street and also Short Beach Park, which is Stratford's largest park, which has our ball fields.
So how are you going to protect them from the noise with the planes up and down and up and down?
So they're there. It's happening now, but what we don't want is if it expands.
Right.
And then the runway zone and the safety zone expands, and then it takes out all of Short Beach Park.
Okay.
So there are things to work through, and we can work through them if we are transparent. Big word. And communicative and collaborative.
Okay. Todd from Shelton. Todd, would you like to speak to Mayor Hoydick? Hello and welcome to the show.
Hi, Lisa. Hi, Mayor. I just called to tell you that I live in Shelton, but all my friends and family that live in Stratford, they're all voting for Mayor Hoydick, and she's doing a phenomenal job.
Thank you, Todd. I really appreciate that.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Todd, for the call. 203-333-9422. Okay, so the airport is something I wanted to ask you about. I wanted to ask you, what else was on my mind about
Remington
Stratford?
Woods.
Remington Woods, thank you. Oh,
You're
my
welcome.
goodness. Right, because Stratford has 75 acres, and then the rest is in Bridgeport. And Mayor Ganem, who's been on our show many times, and I always ask him about it, and I can't quite get him to give me the answer that I want. The answer that I want, which is I'm committed to open space in perpetuity. As soon as I know the place is clean, I'll leave it to the deer. He will not give me that answer. But you're on the other side of that pretty lake. What is Stratford's position with respect to Remington Woods?
Well, we would love to keep it open space, but it's not ours. It's private. So that's the difficulty most people have, understanding what is a municipal option and what is not. So the Sporting Good Properties Inc., a subsidiary of DuPont,
yes,
has proposed some cleanup, and they want to put some battery storage there and some solar panels there on the property to kind of maintain what they have to clean up, and then the maintenance thereafter. So but I haven't heard anything further.
I haven't even heard that.
Mm. Yep. I just don't want the battery storage on Stratford's side. So.
Right. I get it. Frankly, the least amount of development, the better. It would be nice if it was understood to be this gift of a contiguous 400-acre forest in the middle of the urban Bridgeport, which Bridgeport is entitled to, and maybe had a couple of passive walking trails for dogs and leave it alone.
Love it. We have 400 plus acres in Roosevelt Forest. So I don't mind having two sections of 400
Wouldn't that be
acres.
great?
It was phenomenal.
It would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
We need it for air quality, too. Chris from Stratford has a question for you. Go ahead, Chris. What's on your mind?
Good morning, Mayor. Two questions for you. First of all, I saw it looked like a request for proposals in the paper about privatizing the garbage service. Is that a plan for the town?
Chris, no, that's not a plan for the town. Our Public Works department does a great job with our sanitation program. And you may remember that we just rolled out the new system with the automatic arms.
Oh, yeah, I read about that.
Yeah, it was.
They have them in Boca where my parents live. They're the coolest trucks ever.
Yeah.
I can't believe how well they do the job.
They are really good.
Then, Mayor, why was there a request for proposals in the newspaper?
It might have been for some of the condo associations that we provide service to. Maybe we asked for a private company to do that because our trucks are too big to go into their condo areas.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Second question, more a comment than a question. Obviously, as someone living in Lordship, the thoughts of expanding the airport is just really frightening. As you know very well, the quality of life down there is excellent. The prop planes we live with, we're now getting more and more jets taking off. Private jets, obviously, but they're very noisy and disruptive. So any attempt to expand the airport would just really diminish the quality of life there. And I wonder if it seems like the state authority does not want to either lease or buy the airport. Though I understand the law was changed so that they don't have to clean up the whole thing anymore. So that might change the playing field a little bit. But what is the proposal for the town to take it over still in play?
Yes. So the town made a proposal to Bridgeport, to Mayor Ganem, offering $10 million at the time to purchase the airport.
Right.
And then you think it would be much better if it was in Stratford's hands?
I think we're pretty competent in managing things. Yeah. So I don't want to say
What did
it's
Bridgeport
better.
say? Yes or no?
Nothing.
They said nothing.
Yeah. They didn't accept it.
Well, clearly not.
Yes.
And they didn't negotiate it either.
No.
Nothing. Do they make money from it?
Now they do. The leases for the hangars were renegotiated maybe a year and a half ago, and then the airport started turning a profit.
So before that, they didn't make money.
They did not.
Oh, Bridgeport could use every dollar it can get.
Absolutely.
But going back to what Chris said, what state law was he talking about? What would happen there? Thank you, Chris, for the call.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. In the implementer, I think, or the budget bill, one or the other, it talked about the Transfer Act and the cleanup the environmental remediation that would have to be done. At one point, it was a lot higher level, and I think this year they lowered the level of remediation or the impact of it. I'm not exactly sure of the words of the language.
Okay. Oh, they don't have to do as much. Interesting.
Yes.
So we're chatting with Mayor Laura Hoydick, who is the incumbent Republican mayor in Stratford. She's finished 2 4-year terms. She's going for a third. Before that, she was an 8-year veteran in the state legislature, and she also is the president of the Connecticut Conference of Municipalities, which recently wrote a letter asking Governor Lamont to veto 5002 on behalf of the 168 municipalities that belong to the organization, which I thought was extraordinary. I've never seen that before. So, Mayor Hardy, tell us about your personal life. What do you do in the summer? Where are you going on vacation? What are you doing?
So I am the proud mom of 3, married to my husband, Paul, for 40 years.
40 years. Okay, I beat you, and we are the same age, we found out. So I am 43 years. But I was a child bride.
That's right.
Beyond.
So we, my parents built a house in Wilmington, Vermont when I was 10.
Vermont.
And so
God's country.
And so we still have that in the family. So we'll be there.
Do you?
We do. And so we'll be there for a week, and then we'll be at the Cape Cod in Wellfleet
Me too.
for a week.
Me too.
When are you going?
And Wellfleet.
Yeah.
I'll be there for 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks of July.
Oh.
When are you going to be there?
Last week, August.
Where do you stay? Do you rent that little house? That's what we do.
On Day Road. Yep.
Okay, I know where that is. We're on, I don't remember the name of the road. I know how to find it. Norton Bluffs.
Norton Bluffs.
And then we go all the way down. It's a tiny house. It's so tiny that, frankly, my son has to stay in a hotel when he comes. It's tiny, tiny. But anyway, it fronts on the bay.
Beautiful.
And then I walk over Uncle Tim's Bridge every morning to do yoga with Lee at the Quiet Mind Studio. And that's my routine.
And you have wonderful sunsets on the bay.
The whole thing is amazing.
Great, yeah.
That's funny that we both go to Wellfleet.
And then we're 65.
I know. We have a lot in common. And we both care about public service pretty deeply.
We do.
We do. We care about our communities. Comes from a special place. You know, when I talk to people like you, I and especially in this world, reflecting on the horror that happened in Minneapolis, that beautiful woman and her husband gunned down, and the other couple who are still fighting for their lives. And my first thought was, who's going to be left to run for public office? The lunatics. The lunatics are going to run for public office. The crazy lefties and the crazy righties. I call them the lunatics. The people that walk down the middle of the lane, that try and reach compromise, that try and be moderate, that try and be sane, that try and be empathetic. I will reframe it from your point of view and see it from your point of view. Maybe I have a different point of view. Can we meet in the middle? We'll win some, we'll lose some, we'll move on to another day, right? Isn't that what this leader said? She said when she made a lone vote against her party, and she was crying when she did it, but she said this is what, basically leadership looks like. That's what she said as the former Speaker of the House in Minneapolis. And it was a politically motivated attack. And I'm looking at you, and I'm happy that you're in studio. And I'm thinking there are still some people in the world who get up every single day and do these jobs and put themselves out and are willing to run for public office, win or lose, because it comes from, and it's not for the money, right? It's
right.
not.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. It's from something else. And in your case, where does it come from, Laura Hoydick? Where does it come from for you?
I really believe in Stratford, and I really, really believe in the people of Stratford. And I'm so proud to be a product. And my husband and Paul and I wanted to raise our girls there.
Did you grow up there too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're a real hometown girl.
Hometown, yeah. And I've benefited so much from the people in the community and the diversity and the culture, and I love it.
And you love it.
I love it, and I think that we're doing great things in Stratford. And it's been 8 years of hard, but good things have happened because we've done it together. We have been collaborative. We have listened to what people want. I mean, we had the horrific burning of the Shakespeare Theater, which was terrible. But there are plans to go forward and change things and listen to people who want an arts complex, who want performing art and art drawing and painting and sculpture and ceramics. And these are the things that when you listen and you can try to figure out, as you mentioned, walking that middle line and trying to get people's input involved and making the community better for them, it makes them feel better. Their quality of life is better. Your quality of life is better. Government is not the most important thing in their lives. It should not be.
Mm-hmm.
We should try to have stability and civility and be proud of ourselves.
Yeah.
And leave a good legacy.
And you said that you came back after 8 years when another term would have meant the, 10-year pension, which is when a lot of people then do it and retire and the pension is modest. Let's face it. It's not a ton of money because they didn't earn a ton of money.
We did not.
Right. I know that. But it's something. And I guess maybe there's some medical benefits associated with it, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But you left after 8 years.
I did because we were at a cusp, the town, and we were having some struggles. We couldn't pass a budget, and there was a lot of volatility, and we needed to bring civility back to government. And we needed to do business. We needed to be professional. We need to be respectful.
I've got one more comment. Terry from Success Village, which I believe is both in Bridgeport and Stratford, right?
Mm-hmm.
Terry, welcome to the show.
Laura and I have known each other for decades.
Okay. Hi, Terry. Welcome. Hi.
How are you, Laura? We even went to the same grammar school.
Oh, my gosh. Garden school?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, believe it or not, I lived across the street, and I don't have one picture.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you, Terry.
On days when it's very overcast and drizzling, should the beaches still be monitored by the people checking for stickers?
Yes. After Memorial Day through Labor Day. Mm-hmm.
Terry, thank you so much. I'm going to go on because we've got one more caller, and then we've got Wayne Winston on hold. I mean, up here on deck, I should say, not on hold. Mike from Stratford. Hi, Mike. Welcome. You're on the air with Mayor Hoydick. Hello.
Hello. How are you? This is hi, Mayor.
Hi, Mike.
How are you? This is Mike. Yeah, you know me from Stratford. I want to commend you for being very approachable, and my family's behind you. But I just want to let it know to everybody that you're very approachable, and that's one of the best qualities that you are for our mayor.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks for the call. Well, Laura, it sounds like the WICC listening audience likes you.
I like that.
Isn't that nice?
Yes, it is.
And good luck in this new campaign. And we'll have your opponent on when we know who it is, right? There are 2 Democrats who are vying for that nomination?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll know that usually August is a primary. It's usually around then. But thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
Pleasure. We're going to be right back with Wayne Winston. Stay tuned.
It's the Lisa Wexler Show on WICC 600 AM and 107.3 FM. If you missed any of the show today, Lisa's podcast is always available 24/7.
How much do you really know about designing a bathroom? At WinBath, we know and are here to help with top brands like Toto, Groa, and Moed. Our WinBath design consultants guide you through every step, whether you're remodeling or refreshing. We make it stress-free. WinBath Kitchen and Bath Showroom in Shelton is ready to help you design your perfect bathroom. Visit our showroom at 14 Forest Parkway or call 203-925-7603 today. Winning bathrooms with WinBath.
If you're a parent looking for an affordable, innovative, and caring private school right here in Fairfield County, look no further. Schoolhouse Academy is here. Located at the Old Lady Fatima property in Wilton, but entirely renovated. Schoolhouse Academy provides a full-service K-8 co-ed project-oriented art, STEM, and character-based education for a tuition of only $20,000. Compare that to any comparable school here in Fairfield County, and you will see the value. As one parent says,
"We are absolutely thrilled with the Schoolhouse Academy. Our son has gone from feeling lost in math to thriving in an advanced class in just 1 quarter. However, what truly sets this school apart is the human quality of the teachers and management. They genuinely care about the children and their unique needs. We couldn't have asked for a better place for our child to grow and succeed."
open houses for fall enrollment are happening right now. Go to schoolhouseacademy.net. That's schoolhouseacademy.net. Teaching children to think by doing. schoolhouseacademy.net.
Summer is here, and Citi Field is the place to be. Catch the action when the New York Mets host the Atlanta Braves Monday, June 23rd through Thursday, June 26th. On Tuesday, enjoy select $5 concessions menu items, including hot dogs, soda, and popcorn. Restrictions apply. On Thursday, the first 15,000 fans in attendance will receive a reversible Mets bucket hat. Compliments of Premio sausage. Don't miss a moment. Get your tickets now at Mets.com/tickets. That's Mets.com/tickets.
Now you can find out who's under the helmet and behind the jersey with the Rudin Report Athlete Profile. High school sports are made great by the student athletes who play them. Check out the High School Athlete Profile, sponsored by BMW of Darien at therudinreport.com.
The Lisa Wexler Show is back on WICC 600 and 95.9, the voice of Connecticut. And now, it's not just black and white with Wayne Winston. Now on the Lisa Wexler Show on WICC 600 and 95.9, the voice of Connecticut.
And welcome back to the show. Hola, bola. Wayne Winston is here with us. Wayne, big national news that the leader of the NAACP, for the first time in 116-year history of the NAACP, has not invited the sitting president of the United States to their annual convention. And he claims he's had everybody, but he says he doesn't want to have President Trump because he believes that President Trump is committed to a campaign against the values, the goals, the mission statement of the NAACP. Were you surprised about this? Do you think it's a poor decision, a good decision? What do you think?
I think at this point, the NAACP is making a statement that he is unusually unreasonable. It's important to understand why the NAACP was founded. It was about us getting our civil rights back. Whereas people say this is a black organization, it was created because of the violation of our civil rights. And we know, we often have talked in the past about what happened in the Constitution, et cetera, and it was basically used to benefit white people. The Constitution, that same thing is what we were able to stand in court as time goes by to make sure that we get our opportunity. Because when you put something into law, that's very different than saying, I want to treat you one way or the other, because you can hold them to that. There's no question, past presidents, we've always had Republicans there, and I've been in NAACP for a long time.
Do you ever go to their national annual conventions?
National conventions is incredible.
Really?
People from all over. You actually have white presidents of different organizations throughout the country.
Oh, I'm sure.
That are
of course
NAACP,
you do.
because we're a civil rights organization. And I wanted to bring up that the founders of the NAACP, I believe there's 8 of them. Out of the 8, 5 of them were white.
Were they really?
Yes.
I know a few were Jewish.
Yes.
Also.
Yes, there was. In fact, it was, let me see, I will tell you, Henry Moskowitz.
Okay.
So the names are W.E.B. Du Bois, Ida B. Wells, Mary White Ovington, Stephen Samuel Wise, Mary Church Terrell, Henry Moskowitz, Archibald Grimke, and Lillian Wald. Now, what was that all about? They knew what was going on in this country was wrong. So that's why when people see something wrong, it didn't matter what race that you were. They believed that black people should have the same rights as white Americans.
So this is the CEO, Jerrick Johnson. He says, this is what he said. He said the president is on a mission to, quote, eliminate civil rights. And he wrote, for 116 years, the NAACP has invited the sitting president of the United States to address the NAACP National Convention regardless of their political party, citing Truman, Eisenhower, Reagan, Bush, Barack Obama. He said, we're nonpartisan and always welcome those who believe in democracy and the Constitution. I guess he says that he doesn't think Trump believes in democracy or the Constitution.
Well,
are you going to be going to this convention? Where it doesn't say where it is. I'm looking. Where is this year's? Oh, Charlotte, North Carolina,
Yes.
July 12th to 16th. Are you going to go?
I'm aiming to.
Charlotte is a great place to have a convention. I went
is.
to the Democratic National Convention there for nominating a president one year. I think it was Barack Obama, 2012. Was in Charlotte. Yeah, it's a great place.
Well, how can you deny that he said it himself when second day that he was in office, one of the executive orders he signed, he just literally said when he killed DEI, I've just corrected 50 years of injustice. So as far as he's concerned, the Civil Rights Act, that's 50 years. 65, 2025. He's corrected an injustice. So we clearly understand he's not talking about someone who invented ice cream. That's what the significance is. And if you go through what some of the things are that have happened, we talked about the razor bumps when he appoints Pete Hegseth. That affects black people directly. When you're dealing with changing the names, even of ships, Medgar Evers, one of the first people very visible who died in the civil rights, and their name is coming off a ship.
Is it really?
Yes, as is Harriet Tubman's, as they already talked about. I want to say his name is Harry Milk. He was
Harvey Milk.
Harvey Milk. I'm sorry, Harvey Milk.
Gay icon.
Gay icon.
First openly gay mayor of San Francisco.
And served very bravely in the military.
And he was assassinated.
Yes, he was. And you have the everything going on with the statues they're slowly putting back, those advances that we made towards that time, and we're being a little woke, as some people would call it, and we're starting to return things that really said, hey, this should be recognized as not such a great thing because these were people who oppressed black people or indigenous people.
So is there any dissent, do you think, within the NAACP? In other words, are there any voices, do you think, that say we should invite Donald Trump? He is the sitting president. We don't agree with him on a lot, and this is a chance to hear what he has to say and maybe for him to hear us and be persuaded by us as to our point of view?
Well, when the us is, look, there's always people who will be like, hey, invite him anyway, and then we get a chance to tell him what. It's pretty clear what the NAACP stands for. I mean, you can go just go to the website. We are there to defend civil rights, which most times had to do with black people forever. And then as they got implemented, that umbrella brought a lot of other people in, which was women and Latinos, and everybody else has been able to take advantage of that. That was a huge victory. So when you bring in, even recently, people from South Africa, the Afrikaners in particular.
Oh, yeah.
Not even the black ones, the Afrikaners who basically participated in apartheid. I mean, what are you trying to say? We can bring them in, but not the black Africans. They didn't ask any of them to come over because they needed a better. And then they created the whole black farmers. This group of farmers are being oppressed by the black people that are there, black Africans. Well, De Beers diamond mines are over there. Those people are not living well. Those black Africans that work in those mines are not being treated well. They're not getting the benefit of that economy. So the idea that they're being oppressed or something, whatever they're going through, is far from the truth. And it falls into the fact that, race is kind of baked into certain things in this country. And we've been fighting a long time. And as the original people that helped found the NAACP in 1909, that still stands today. So dismantling, he wants birthright citizenship. He wants to pick who wants to be a citizen. That's one of the things that protected us. That said we are American citizens. So to us, it's pretty obvious. And if I could be honest and make a real statement, there's people in America that will hurt us. When you have the the rise of these hate groups. There's so many confrontations going on right now all across this country when it comes to not just Jewish people, and they're coming out like crazy, to black people. You're seeing Klan wearing hoods, marching in different parts of the country. It's all over the internet, and these are real people because they feel this is their time.
All right, so let me ask you, Wayne, do you think part of the reason the NAACP is making its statement has to do with this? A full travel ban has been imposed by President Trump against these initial countries, with 36 more to follow, possibly.
Yes.
But the initial countries are Afghanistan, Myanmar, which is the old Burma, Asian country, Chad, Republic of the Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen.
Well, I think we all know those are, well, if you're not geographically sure, those are all black or / brown countries. Arabs are seen as like browns, so let's be clear what that means. They've never had any of the white countries on there. The assumption in America, if we're talking about getting to what this is supposed to be about, getting illegal people out of this country, quote, illegal immigrants. Well, when they focus on Venezuela and et cetera, are we assuming that all of the Italians are here that are legal citizens and they have passed all of that? Are we assuming that the Irish people, that the Polish people, the Romanians, that all of them are, quote, legitimate citizens and have their visas sorted out? They haven't overstayed because they haven't gone after that population at all. Now, I've seen certain people that they've been after that took a position politically on something. They may address it then. But as a whole, there's nobody going through those white nations, and that's what we find is unusual.
But the Venezuelans, we know many of them came through Mexico. We know how they came. We know many of them were uninspected. We know that many of them were truly refugees and asked for political asylum because they were escaping Venezuela's horrors. But I think, and also we know that enough, Wayne, because Biden made a special exemption for Venezuelan people because they came so en masse illegally. I mean, they just crossed the borders.
As he did with Haiti and a number of other places, but Trump killed all those off. Those are done. Those people are being deported. You've got basketball players who play in the NBA and in college, and they're being deported.
We're going to be right back. I'm glad that we've segued to that. There are a couple of recent cases and fact patterns I want to talk about with you. 203-333-9422. You're welcome to join the conversation. It's not just black and white. Conversations that Wayne Winston and I have every week about affirmative action, about DEI, about race, about civil rights. You're welcome to be part of that conversation at 203-333-9422. We'll be right back.
Get the best parts of the Lisa Wexler Show right now. Follow now on your favorite podcast app.
A.G. Williams Painting. A.G. Williams Painting. The people you trust to do the job right.
Imagine your house perfectly painted. Fresh colors, clean lines, looking better than ever. And now imagine a painting experience that's just as good. We're talking friendly painters, easy communication, and never feeling in the dark. With A.G. Williams Painting, you don't have to imagine it.
A.G. Williams Painting. The people you trust to do the job right.
A.G. Williams Painting has been painting in your neighborhood since 1906, and they know how to do it right. You'll love their team, too. A.G. Williams Painting has career craftspeople who are totally dedicated to their work and invested in your project. That means peace of mind and a paint job you can be proud of.
A.G. Williams Painting. A.G. Williams Painting. The people you trust to do the job right.
Columbia Dental's Norwalk office is your go-to family dentist. They offer comprehensive care with general dentists and an oral surgeon. Conveniently located at 91 East Avenue, they're affiliated with the Columbia Implant Center in Manchester, operating 7 days a week, including holidays, to manage any dental emergency. With their in-house digital dental lab, they provide top-tier dental services, including prosthetics, ensuring all your needs are met. For more information, visit columbiadental.com and experience unparalleled dental care.
I remember brushing my hair and looking down and thinking, oh my gosh, do I have any hair left? I used to look at women with thick, beautiful hair and think, why doesn't my hair look like that?
My thinning hair is making me feel so old.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need hair volume from New Nordic. With clinically proven ingredients like apple extract, biotin, and millet, hair volume nourishes your hair follicles to promote thicker, healthier looking hair. Say goodbye to shedding, thin, and dull hair, and hello to thick, healthy hair with hair volume.
Since taking hair volume, the shedding has all but stopped. Now, instead of being jealous of other women's hair, I have friends who are jealous of mine.
My hairdresser couldn't believe the difference in my hair. Now she's using hair volume too.
Available as a tablet or delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com, or find Hair Volume in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Back to the news and talk. Thanks to Smart MLS. Smart sellers ask, is my home on Smart MLS? The voice of Connecticut. WICC 695.9. It's the Lisa Wexler Show.
I want to talk about tactics for a moment, and I want to move the conversation away from policy. We know that the policy of the Trump administration is frankly consistent with what Obama did, with what Clinton wanted to do, with what Reagan did in terms of amnesty after trying to deport. And the policy is that there are many U.S. presidents who feel that people who got here illegally and who are here illegally should not be here and should be deported. Obama at one time was deporting 400,000 a year. So let's put the policy aside because we know that presidents have the right to do this. Question is about tactics. We know that in Connecticut last week or 2 weeks ago in New Haven, some ICE agents put ski masks on. They were in an unidentified car, not anything that showed that they were law enforcement. They jumped out of the car. There was a mother walking with a teenage daughter, and they took the mother and put her into a car and detained her and put her on a plane, and she's not here anymore. And a 13-year-old is left on a street wondering what the hell just happened to her and her family, completely bereft. That's a tactic conversation, not a policy conversation. In another story that, Wayne, that you sent to me this morning, here's a fact pattern. 3 plainclothes officers claiming to be from the Department of Public Safety, once again deceiving people. They said they were from something that they're not. Deceived and deported Shirley Guardado, who was an undocumented wife of a currently serving military man, Army Sergeant Isa Correa. And not only that, this woman had just dropped off her 10-month-old son with her own mother and went to work at an air conditioning manufacturing company. She works hard. She's on her feet all day. She's doing assembly line work, and she's working. Okay. That same morning, her husband had reported for duty with the 103rd Quartermaster Company outside Houston, Texas, and Guardado got a call from some sort of a public safety officer informing her, listen to this deception, that her car had been in an accident in the work parking lot. The men who claimed to be Department of Public Safety officers then apprehended her as she went out to look at her car. And shortly afterward, her sister told the husband that undercover ICE agents had taken his wife and refused to say where they were taking her. So now we've got law enforcement in America taking people off the streets and not telling people where they're going. And Correa had told a journalist that he didn't think his wife was going to be deported because, number one, he's on active duty status in the military. And number two, she had already shown up and said, I know I got here illegally, but I am online to be able to be allowed to stay here legally. And you know who I am. And I'm trying to become a U.S. citizen. And I'm married to somebody who's American. And Correa said, me being in the military, I felt bad it was happening because I'm also married to somebody who's going through the process. But I was like, oh, there's no way this is going to happen to us. Guardado even had a work permit and an ICE order of supervision requiring her to regularly check in, which she was doing.
Yes.
And Correa saying, I didn't hear from her for 3 days. He didn't hear from the mother of his child, his wife, for 3 days. when his wife was finally able to contact him from an ICE facility in Conroe, Texas. He said to her, there has to be a mistake. But no, they took her to Honduras anyway. They took her on her 28th birthday on May 30th and forced her to leave behind her 10-month-old son. For all we know, she could be nursing him, right?
Yes.
So now you've got a little one immediately having to be weaned from his mom, not seeing his mom. He says he has to go to Honduras to reunite his son with his mother. She has no friends there. They left 10 years ago. She has no family back. And he said, quote, although he hopes to continue his Army service, which began back in 2018, he won't re-enlist when his contract ends next year unless the transfer is approved. Tactics. Forget about policy. Is this okay?
Well, they can only do what they can get away with. I mean, clearly someone's saying do whatever you have to do. It doesn't matter. Like, they are like public enemy number ones. These are tactics that you would use on, to me, like a terrorist or some person that is a threat of some type of level of security. They don't even do that to criminals.
I'm sorry. I don't think deceiving someone about who you are is allowed under law enforcement industry. Do you remember Dragnet? Hello,
Understood.
This is who I am. These are your Miranda rights. Blah, 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 blah.
According to them, they don't have to identify themselves. They could say I'm ICE or not. And when you get to that point, they go, well, yeah, but you're still here legal. And so let's go. Once they get their hands on you, that's it.
I'm talking tactics.
So that's what I'm saying.
My own opinion is
I agree with you.
That whether or not someone can ultimately be detained is not relevant to the question of telling people who you are. You have to tell people who you are. You can't deceive people. Come out for a car accident. Ha ha, I gotcha. And wear a ski mask.
Well, I'm going to say again, do you hear of any reprimand of any of these agents when they're doing these things? If someone's not saying you can't do that,
it hasn't
beyond
gotten
the
in
public,
front of a judge yet. Wait.
It will. But
Wait.
She'll still be in Honduras. Maybe she'll be able to call him back. But I'm saying there's a pattern. And this is what the communities, no matter what race are saying, it's like the people who are being treated in that manner, she couldn't be in a better place to become a citizen. And it's clear, and I'm going to go to this racing again. Are we saying that all the Italians in America are legal, verified citizens? All the Jewish people, the Polish people? Because if the idea is about the illegals, or it's certain types of, quote, illegals, because that would be statistically incorrect.
I don't understand what you're saying, Wayne.
Okay.
You have to be much clearer, and you only have 1 minute.
I will be clear.
Thank you.
They're not arresting white people who could be illegal. They have the same records. But clearly the brown people, no matter what your situation is, they're taking you and sending you out of this country, because that's the only alternative. Because if this is really what that's about.
Have you seen this woman? She's not brown.
Oh, no. But her race is. That's why they sent her to Honduras. They have her information. That's what.
So brown or Latino is what you're saying.
Yes, I'm sorry. Brown or Latino. They're Middle Eastern. They're African. I haven't seen them pull up. There's more Irish people in America than there are in Ireland. Again, I'm not picking on anybody. I'm saying there's definitely a racial dynamic to this that goes past becoming over that border, or you'd see more of a mixture of people.
Tomorrow's Juneteenth. I'm doing a show. Wayne, I hope you're going to join us for it. Maybe we can get Jeff Fletcher on. That would be amazing. You're listening to WICC. I'm going to pass the mic to the download and then to Paul Pacelli with Connecticut Today. If you miss our podcast, you can find them on lisawexler.com or on Apple or Spotify.
WICC Bridgeport, WFOX Southport, WEBE HD2 Westport, WPLR HD2 New Haven, locally owned by Connoisseur Media.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Steve Kathan. The Supreme Court, in a 6-3 decision, has upheld Tennessee's ban on gender-affirming care for transgender minors. CBS's Jan Crawford.
They're rejecting claims that there's any kind of equal protection argument, and they're also rejecting or deciding not